Today we're going to talk about time. We're going to talk about timelines, we're going to talk about predictions, we're going to talk about reading in the future and reading in the past, and I'm going to give you a technique that might help you do that. So buckle up, and if you're new to this channel, this is a good one to jump in on, but there's so many sessions to listen to. Also, please subscribe and hit the notification button, because not only do I want you to get these videos and keep working on opening up your intuition, but it helps the overall channel. Thank you so much. One of my favorite topics today, which is linear time. I could talk about linear time for hours, absolute hours. When I first opened up intuitively, part of my training really, which was done with my first spirit guide, who ends up being my teaching guide, one of the training pieces that was so big was learning about linear time, learning how we're anchored into it, learning how our intuition is anchored into it, and how our three bodies are connected to linear time. Three bodies, I mean physical body, programming body, linear time mind, and our spiritual body. So linear time is one of my absolute favorite topics. We bring it up quite frequently, and we have a monthly Q&A in the Sage Circle where I get to go live with the Sage Circle members, and we go back and forth and ask questions, and we talk about it. And there's always seems to be some sort of a time discussion in there, because it's really powerful. We're here, we're linked in on time. We have decided this is in this agreed upon reality. We're anchored in to this moment in time. As you're listening to this, you are consciously anchored in to this moment in time. Now, when we talk about intuition, things get fun. Because one step that will uncover a lot of intuitive information for you is being able to navigate and or release yourself from linear time. I'm going to break this down simple, because I know myself, I can go really deep with this. And, like I said, in the Sage Circle, we go really deep with these topics. Same with some of the courses, but I'm going to stay in a space today where it gives you tools to start exploring it yourself, because that's what these sessions are about for me. Now, if you're brand new to your intuition, that's okay. This is something I wish I would have been instructed on and told and taught and had shared with me very early on. If you have been using your intuition for a while, let's take this to ramp it up. Let's take this to just the next level. Okay, here we go. The basic understanding is this. You are in a physical body. That physical body does a few things. That physical body contains your spirit. It anchors you into this agreed upon reality, into this earth, and it gives you the ability to hear my voice word for word, line it up in a sentence and understand it. It also anchors your existence into this linear timeline. Now, sometimes we have an intuitive moment where we realize, and I want to emphasize that, sometimes we'll have an intuitive moment, comes out of nowhere, or it's part of what we're already picking up, where we realize that it probably happened in the past, what we're seeing, or we realize that it might be something that's going to happen in the future. Now, I can give you a bunch of examples of this, but in essence, most people, when they do spiritual clearings in a home, many times they're seeing things in different timelines or something that's happened in the past. A lot of readers pick up quite frequently a lot of information from the past because guides, loved ones are giving that information to the reader so that they can pass it on to the sitter, so that they can understand the meaning behind what the important messages are coming through. There's a whole bunch of reasons for all this, and predictions. Okay, predictions. I'm just going to take just a 30-second little snippet here. Imagine that this is a 30-second prediction commercial. Predictions don't always come true. And there's a reason. And I want you to listen to this, because when we get to talking about a tool that you can use to navigate the timeline intuitively, this will start to make even more sense on a deeper level. When a reader does a prediction, they are seeing the future as if it is happening now, right? But they're also seeing the future according to the time that we're in this moment, meaning things can change. They're looking at one stream of linear time that says, if this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, then this will happen. So when a reader is seeing the future, sometimes it's set in stone. Yes, sometimes that is something that absolutely has to happen, and it will, but more often than not, it's the way things are moving now, currently. So if a reader says 5 years from now, this is going to happen, that's in regards to where everyone is right now and what possibly could happen between now and then. So I don't hold a lot on predictions. I'm going to be honest. And I've gotten predictions even for myself, and I tap in with my main guide and I share it like in the full moon ceremonies that I do. I share that with the group about what might be coming up, but I never tend to go really far out, because once you go like a year out or further than that, you're really looking at so many different things that can change. Okay, let's get back to this. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes you'll get a feeling or an image and you'll know that it was in the past. Perhaps it's clothing, perhaps it feels like a memory for some, perhaps there's an old feel to it. You'll know that it was in the past, or sometimes you'll see something that's coming up. I mentioned that. When we actually engage with the conscious forward kind of momentum of saying, okay, I'm stepping on to the timeline. When we, as a reader yourself, even if this is just for your personal day-to-day life, when you say, I am purposely, consciously stepping onto linear time, metaphorically, to navigate it intuitively, that's when more and more and more information comes in. Put it this way, if you are reading, and let's say you walk into a new home of someone and you see some things intuitively, but they don't match up with the environment around you. And the homeowner goes, oh, well, that's because that's what it used to be 10 years ago. And then you go, oh, okay, I was in the past. If you were to then focus on it again, things are clear. You get more information, and you get more information because you know it was in the past. So when you consciously add to the mix of your intuitive session, whether it's for yourself or for somebody else, when you consciously say, hey, I am consciously holding myself in this time period or this time period or this time period, that's when doors open. That's when you get more information. If you want to know information about the future, that's great. That's awesome. Consciously take an extra step to put yourself in the future. So we tend to start with, I want to know what's coming up. So we tend to start by holding ourselves here in this moment, saying, tell me what's coming up. What I'm going to ask you to do, and this is kind of, we're navigating into the tool here today. What I'm asking you to do is, if you want to know what's coming up, take an additional step and say, okay, I am consciously bringing myself into next year or next Thursday or 7 p.m. tonight. Take that extra step to set the stage. Now, this isn't going to work for everybody, but you know me. If you've been watching this at all, you know me. My job is to get you to try things because you might find that this worked for you. And many times, this is what I love about exploring intuition for so many people. And I've witnessed this not only for myself, but for others. What I love is those moments where something clicks and you go, wow, when I do this, I have more access to my intuition. Wow, that's cool. And then you go, wow, that was really simple. Why didn't I think about that before? We can't think of everything, right? This is why we're a team. This is why community is so important when it comes to encouraging each other to open up intuitively. So when it comes to timeline readings, if you want to read or pick up information about something that's coming up, or if you want to go back in time and kind of sit with something intuitively, either way, what I want you to do is I want you to take that extra step and just set your intention and say, my intention is to hold myself in the space of 7 o'clock tonight or next Thursday or 1 year from today. Now, a couple disclaimers. You're not going to get what you're not supposed to get. We don't get information that would affect our path in a negative way, get us off path, or mess things up. I say this because I personally analyze. I'm logical. I want to know everything. I want to problem solve. I want it all to work right now. So my spirit guides actually have a practice of saying, we're going to give you this, but we're not going to tell you this, because if we told you this, you just go and mess it up, Bill. And you know what? They're right. They're right. So let's get real about who we are. And more so, let's be totally okay with who we are and love ourselves for that reason. So you might not get all the information that you want up front. Intuition doesn't necessarily work like that. If it did, everyone would win the lottery. I get it. But it doesn't work like that. Intuition is one of your senses that you can use as a tool to assist you in moving forward on your path for your highest good and for joy and for bliss coming into your life. That's what intuition is. Is it the end all be all answer of everything? No. If you run into a reader that says that they can pick up anything and everything, turn around, walk out the door, lock the door. Hopefully you didn't lose your deposit. Just go. Okay? Intuition is guidance. We can sharpen it. We can gain more access to it. It's already within us at 100%. It's a matter of learning how it works for you. So it's there, but we don't always get all of the answers that we want. But we get a lot more helpful information to smooth out our lives. It's called being in the flow, right? Life is up, life is down. Life is way up, life is way down. Life is way down, life is down lower. Life is kind of in the middle, right? That's not the flow. When you use your intuition on a day-to-day basis, all three of your bodies now integrate into life in such a way that you're able to really experience, manifest, create, and be an active participant in your life path. But again, doesn't mean we get everything, but you get a whole lot more. So get started. Okay, timeline. Here's the thing. If you can just set your intention, here's some techniques. You can just set your intention and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm looking at next Thursday, next Friday at noon. This is things coming up. I'm going to consciously place myself in that space and settle into it and see what unfolds. Or you can also, if you are visual, if you like to set a stage and a structure that you can kind of work off of intuitively, then you can create the timeline. It could be a city street. It could be the Golden Brick Road. It could be patio pavers, right? It could be anything. Just imagine a long line of something and imagine yourself going down that line and landing at the time period that you want to land in, and then tap in, then relax into your intuition. Play around with this a little bit. Like I said, I could go on for hours and hours on linear time because we haven't even touched the surface of it here. We're talking, every decision we make divides us into another parallel universe. Linear time is all happening at once for ourselves on the other side. There isn't linear time on the other side. That's just here. You have to have a body to experience it. There's so much. So if you're hungry for knowledge, I am going to invite you in to the Sage Circle, just to come in, check it out, listen to a few videos, interact, see what people are doing, participate in the moon sessions with me. Just feed your soul. And if that platform feeds your soul, I would love that for you. I would love that for you. Play around. This is what it's about. And remember, have fun. If you're looking for a little extra oomph in this playing around with your intuition and having fun with it, try this next video, push versus pull. It's a great, great, great technique to learn because it's going to speed up everything we're doing here.